beyond a comfort.
I mean, yeah, he has played so many of his iconic champions at this tournament already, slamming them all. Speaking of
He
which,
ain't gonna be playing that one though. Is Knight pick? Wait,
It's the Cassiopeia
It
bot!
is the Cassiopeia bot. We
That's what
didn't
I'm
know
saying.
whether it was good, but maybe it will be today. Oh, and we get the Gyos versus the Hanadul sets, which I think is very, very cool. And we have Kanavi on the blue buff here. Shun is moving over on Vision right now. Gets the ward down. There is the blue taken by Kanavi, and now he looks to try and turn this fight. In comes On, looking for the angle, but Zeus is going to get him first, like you were saying. Knight's moving over. Blast Cone is there. He gets himself into the battle, but Zeus has the Flame Spitter out. The flash over, but the jump back from Kanavi. The flash taunt to come in, though, in First Blood. Over to Knight. Shun gets out of there. Zeus is overheating. On is still trying to fight as Bin makes his way in. The hop comes through, but Delight is looking to try and keep them away from his teammates. Still, he's going to go down. 2-0 for BLG.
BLG strike first in the series.
As they're looking for this blue buff as well. Kanavi is obviously going to fight for it as they dive over. Shattering Strike is going to connect on to On, but Shun is going to secure that blue buff. There's the taunt flash. Oh, Viper finds a petrifying gaze, immediately cuts down 2, and BLG moved to 4-0.
it's insane! And now he's going to look for bottom lane for Guma again.
Well, he's actually going to be supporting Viper here for what feels like the first time this game. There's another petrifying gaze, and man, is it scary.
Is On just the GOAT, okay? I mean, this Shen support is insane. River Shen into tower diving Shen. Can HLE answer?
Shun here.
Looking for a bit of an angle. Shun here for the defense. They do get the knock up onto Zeus. Everyone in the Cataclysm. The Equalizer goes down, though. The Flame Spitter comes through. They do knock down the Jarvan. Bin trying to find a target. The crash down there to stop any sort of re-engage. But Bin gets the flash now. Finds the Rel as Kanavi needs to jump over this wall. He will do so. The house is not going to quite connect. And they go 1-for-1.
1-for-1. I mean, you still manage to get a lot of those minions under the tower as well, but Knight and On here. On's to level 5. I don't think you can go for this, can you?
Well, they're going to double with the 5 points.
Presence he's had in keeping HLE in their own jungle.
Shun wants a piece. He wants another blue buff here.
Oh, Kanavi may not be able to fight for this one, but he still gets knocked up. There's the taunt and Knight on a rampage, absolutely.
To this tournament, and he wants to add maybe another one.
Yeah, this could be number 5 as the Equalizer goes down from Zeus. He does have his teammates coming, but they're not going to be there soon enough. The Magna Storm is going to come down, but Knight gets himself out of there. Kanavi almost dies before he even gets in, as they do get the shutdown, but at what cost, ladies and gentlemen? Bin says everything.
It is a massacre! Very first play of the game, going for the invade. Shun steals away the early collapse, and since then, every play has been BLG.
Yeah, the Masma just stopping Delight from being able to press any button at all, really. He does have Ghost, but that's not going to help him here, as he is likely to go down. Gets the heal, nice satchel, but it's not going to be enough. Down he will go, and Shun, he's the one to now pick up his 5th kill of the game.
Yeah, Kanavi just trying to hold on.
Oh dear, Knight going for the 1v1, he'll find it!
And even now, like, with that push away, you still have Shun covering for Knight. He's starting to get more turret plates. Kanavi.
Yeah, I don't know what Kanavi's supposed to be able to do here, as he does bounce his way out, but he's still just dead. That's a solo kill here for Shun. That is going to get a very comfortable kill on this outer turret that's lasted a much longer time than I was expecting. Shun driving forward, a beautiful taunt. They catch Gumayushi, just the edge of the petrifying gaze.
There are the memes. The only thing, you know, for, as we've see Knight delete another.
Well, Delight is going to try and exhaust him, but even
by Gumayushi and Zeus, but now they want to get a little bit more.
Yeah, Cataclysm onto only Kanavi is not exactly the target they're looking for, as Delight is just kind of dead as an afterthought. Kanavi going to have to run the heck out of there as the Twin Fangs. It's just over, isn't it?
Is Knight the most... okay, we got another on ult. They're going to kill someone.
Kanavi is dead, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to flash first, but then he is indeed going to go down.
Is Knight... Yeah, he does have the death note.
Well, Zeker is going to look for a bit of an angle. He does manage to buffer the ulti, but still gets knocked up. Nothing he could do. Shun able to lock down that kill as Knight gets into the back line. That is an electrocution onto Gumayushi and an execution onto HLE here in game number 1.
Just not giving Hanwha a chance. Kanavi sent packing as nice. Looking for one more.
Yeah, he may as well see whether he dives the fountain. Not going to be the case just yet, as Kanavi is trying to tempt them into it, but the Nexus is going to be the focus here. BLG, all business, as they will be able to take game #1, utter demolition.
I want to know what BLG did to
all the
warm
stacks in the book, wiping them off the map. That is a melee champion. 20,000 damage. Second at 5K. He did 4 times.
Embarrassing screenshot.
On did more damage than Zeka.
I mean, this is crazy. You know, I came into this, yes, I did predict HLE. I thought it was going to be more about HLE being that more complete team, but how they actually function as
Your engage range is insanely long, and you can really punish.
Oh, Viper, okay. The Taliyah bottom lane, I remember this, and I'm
With a
sad
Pantheon.
that I do. Yeah, the Taliyah Pantheon back before. Fearless scoreline there with 1-0. HLE probably still a bit dazed after that first one.
Well, let's see if they get stunned early on in this one, because On walks up. You know, he's looking to scrap instead, looking to create some action. Good job pushing the Scuttlecrab top.
Yeah, I don't know about Zeka's positioning here as he's in amongst 3 people. Tempest goes down, and so does the Annie. First blood.
Difficult to hit on towards Jax, who can just leap strike away.
Yep, Solarflare going to connect, though. That is an extremely dead delight, as we do see some pings towards the bottom side of the map.
And 4 people going top at bin.
Yeah, there is the deadly flourish as well. The curtains are being called. He's looking for Zeus, who flashes out of the way of the public execution. Delight gets in the Hextech ultimatum to take the kill. Gone down on the other side of the map, and there is the kick flash out at Shun. Guma taken down, and on the other side of the map, he's left hanging.
Taking the objective bot and then defending the other side.
Oh, Delight making his way in. There's a Hextech ultimatum onto Viper as Kanavi wanting to make his way in. He will be able to get there, although never mind, elects not to go forward.
Engage.
Now On could be in a little bit of trouble. Does have that Eclipse to make him so durable as Kanavi gets the next Cyclone to take down the support. But the Monkey will be traded for it, and Bin picks up the kill.
But it's BLG who've just been using these gloves.
Sitting there and defending. Now go again.
Yeah, Zeus going to try and leap his way away. Kanavi for the defense. Delight going to be showing up as well. On obviously is right here as well, as the Rift Herald will be given on over, or at least forced to reset. HLE, they need to say goodbye to Zeus, but there's the deadly flourish. That's the pickoff onto On, but he buys so much time. The curtains have been called now as the bullets fly. Delight should be answered though, and Shun so incredibly low, but he's going to survive. Public execution is a little private this time.
Kanavi does not want to.
Oh,
he got
dear.
spotted.
Yeah, spotted on the Scryer's Bloom. Now looking to try and get himself out. Warrior Trickster comes through. Delight is going to try and defend. They want to save the Monkey, and it looks like maybe they'll be successful. Flash out of the way of the Solar Flare. Here is Zeus with the Counter-Strike and the Leap Strike trying to get himself out. But now Hextech ultimatum to cut off Knight, and On is the one that they turn on to. The Incinerate helps grab that one, and Kanavi's even able to get out of that. That is going to be Infernal Soul point for BLG if they're able to lock that one down. Now Zeus could be in a little bit of trouble here, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. Solar Flare comes through. The layering of CC is perfect.
Side from BLG is looking pretty good.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall available here as well. There's the kickback onto Kanavi. Solar Flare going to connect onto Zeka, but only for the slow. Kanavi's still going to die though as Shun locks that one down as Zeka flashes over the top. Sidesteps very nicely, but he's still dead, ladies and gentlemen. Bin locks it down.
And the
It
guy
feels pretty similar, to be honest.
And the guy you tried to shut down has nearly a 2,000 gold lead. Now wants to pick up Delight to really make it that much worse.
Delight going to flash away, but Zeus may not be as lucky as Bin moving towards the minion wave. Zeus fighting against On, feeling better about that one as Zeka is booking it towards his bottom side, throws down the bear, but Shun gets on in there. Delight finds a Hextech ultimatum. It's taking them everything to take down Bin, and they're still not able to get it. Finally, he goes down, but at what cost, ladies and gentlemen? As Knight's able to kill Zeus as a response, another Realm Warp gets in there. Kumyushi playing defense. He might be able to keep them alive for a little bit longer as the threaded volley from Viper not able to do too much, and the flick back onto his former mid laner for BLG. 8,000. I mean, it's the same game as game 1.
I mean, the coaching staff celebrating early, but I would say actually it's not even early. I'd say it's right on time.
Yeah. I think they need to do the celebrating now, because they might just plan on how to do this in the next game very soon as well, as Viper getting out of the way of Zeus the best he can. Kanavi trying to cyclone his way to safety, but everyone is getting attacked from every angle possible. And Zeus is just like, well, get me the heck out of here. Viper knows exactly where he is, throws him towards Knight. The gift that keeps on giving is, what is he doing down here?
You've got three.
They're catching him between the turrets in the mid lane. Zeka gonna get thrown back, delivered to Bin.
to find the magic for HLE, and Bin is fishing.
Well, Zeus looking to see whether he can at least stay alive against this, but On is moving over. There's the counter-strike. Viper in a little bit of trouble as Zeus trying to keep himself alive. Kanavi is going to be able to get out of there. The question is, can anyone else? As Delight is basically dead to start this one off. He does manage to get Viper in the back line, but that is all he's going to be able to claim. The last shot from Guma doesn't do anything at all, and he's desperately trying to defend. 2 inhibitors down at 27 minutes, and BLG, they'll just go back and spend their hordes of gold.
And HLE, they're probably already, wait a second.
Yeah, Knight in a little bit of trouble perhaps as Kanavi gets over there. Doesn't waste any time, uses the Cyclone immediately. There's the double knock-up to come on through, but Knight just kills him.
What happens if game 3 is the exact
Game
same?
3, Stewart. Okay, well, BLG are looking for an angle, and Bin will find one, gets into the backline, eliminates Gumayushi there. Zeka died at some point in that play, but I didn't quite see it. And there is going to be the Cyclone onto Knight. He's going for it. If at first you don't succeed, you're not going to succeed in this series, as BLG will wipe them from the rift, and it feels like mercy here in game number 2, as Viper just teleports in, looks to get rid of this last Nexus turret. And gentlemen, I think this is the quickest we've made it to a match point so far here at MSI, and it's in the winners final.
I mean, the question is, what's the quickest 3-0 we've had at this event? Because BLG are looking like they want to break us.
My goodness.
And we saw Delight was only ever even looking for something with Flash, because the only way in is Flash ultimatum. He could not really go for any hook shots to start plays.
This is what happened with T1
Wait,
where they got cut out before.
So where are they flexing it though?
Yeah,
That's the
never mind.
question.
Yeah.
So the Zaya is coming in. I was thinking maybe Viper was going to play Skarner this time.
Yeah.
So I was right there with you.
Yeah,
I was right there with you. But no, not going to be the case. We are going to have the Lovers Duo there towards the bottom side of the map. And the Trundle of Kanavi is something that he's found a lot of success on in the LCK as well. So something that he might be able to find some advantages on, especially with Shun, on something that is a little bit more on the back foot, at least very early on.
Yeah, and
it's gorgeous.
Exactly. It's so good. And it should lead, wait a second, the collapse coming from BLG. They want to scrap this one out.
Yep, the flash over from Kanavi is Knight trying to get out of there, does find the Solar Snare as Gumayushi, he wants to turn his attention to the mid laner of BLG. First blood as the chomp comes down, and BLG just have to get out of there. Emilio not necessarily going to be starting off any fights. They do get control of the Banana Brush though, but now Bin is moving in. Grand Entrance is going to come down as On is in a lot of trouble, but the Mundo is able to get on top of Shun. The kennel goes down, Shun just having to get himself out of there. Zeus dealing with the rest of them. The quickness comes through, can On make something happen here? The answer's no, as Zeka locks down the Scorpion, the Crocodile running for the hills, and another briefcase will come on down. Kanavi distracted by a camp in the meantime. Viper is fighting Guma, and there he sweeps him up with the Feather Recall, and it's a Kanavi a little bit of damage himself. Another exhaust comes down. Featherstorm for the damage. Gumayushi tries to keep himself alive and fails at the task, and Viper will kill him a second time.
Just seed the extra dragon.
All right, Zeus chasing after Bin, or has Bin chasing after Zeus? I think it's Zeus chasing after Bin at the moment. Kanavi's moving up. The Dominus is there, but I don't know whether Bin's going to be able to survive this one. Slices and dices, creates some space, and in comes the Skarner as well, but Zeus flashes on top of the Crocodile. Kanavi held in position and taken out as Knight looking to try and answer the play as well. On gets over here. Zeus doesn't look too worried about it just yet. Zeka's moved up, and Delight is now over the wall, able to support his Mundo.
With a very early heart steal, may even try and stack it on Viper here.
Yeah, he doesn't have Featherstorm available. He does have the exhaust, but Mundo is not tired. Zeus is just walking him down, immune to the CC and the backhand.
Zeka actually not getting gapped by Knight, or is it Zeus on this Mundo?
Well, there's a teleport in. The Mundo is up here one more time. It's Kanavi. He is not going down to this one. The slice, the dice. Is the kennel going to be available? The flash comes through. There's no turret here though, Bin. Where are you going? Kanavi eats him. And BLG are going to have to run away from the bottom turret as well. This inner turret, they are keeping up the pace in this game. And Bin, let's see whether he can keep this turret alive. A charge is going to come through. He definitely cannot. Now, will the Dominus actually keep him alive? That's the question, as Kanavi's just beating him with a club. Slice and dice will get him out of there, as Kanavi is going to take the Shellfish exit. Viper is able to flash his way out. That is the smite to come through from Shun. Gets the Impale over the base gate, and Kanavi will finally be shut down.
Honestly, they Okay, Shun under attack again.
Yeah, put into the kennel one more time. That is not where Scorpions like to go. As Delight, will be able to help holding him in place there as the fire kick. Zeus grabs it with a briefcase.
Soul comes in, otherwise HLE will just complete.
Oh, Shun.
Oh no, the kennel is so perfectly placed. He does manage to drive through it. Is on with the quickness, not able to do anything as Delight just blocks it. Bin looking for a flank angle, but HLE, they pick that one up as well. And Gumayushi is just being a typewriter over BLG. Bin has to flash to get over the kennel, and now Zeus, where did he come from? Well, it is going to be Bin locking down the kill onto Kanavi. That is the... And HLE just feeling phenomenal. The Spirit Visage was completed. Zeka just bounces on top of Shun with that blast cone. And that is going to be the soul picked up. And Zeka removing the soul of Shun here in his jungle.
Yeah, Shun wanted to eat a little bit. Just a little jungle camp, please. And Knight slaps his hand away.
Well, the Milio is dead. Delight is just going to be caught backing in a place where he's not really allowed to. Back to it once again after they've spent that money. As Gumayushi on 3.5 items right now. The quickness to try and hold Kanavi in position. And he's wondering why.
Committed.
As okay, looking for Zeus as in goes Bin, trying to find a flank angle, gets a mega cone to get himself the heck out of there. The question is he out? The Subjugate is now running on the Renekton, is on, speaking of which, he's going to take a full culling to the face, and the Arcane Storm is just terrifying, completely blocks them off, and Zeus just walks in to 4 people and selects Viper as his target. He'll kill everyone. Gumayushi thought that he might have been able to take down the Skarner there. Zeus' health bar does not move. He teleports underneath the turret and will be able to take these Nexus turrets as well. Look at that health bar if you can. We need better resolution to see how much health Zeus has. And HLE come alive finally here in Daejeon.
Look that way after win, but after the way the first 2 games went, to then have this very slow, steady, methodical win is quite encouraging. The players on this team, Zeus and Guma, have multiple world championships each, so they should be able to kind of pull anybody else through.
But it could be the Gwen.
Well, we've just...
I'm not going to lie, lads. You've had enough time to think about this, but that would be cool.
Yeah, there's a hen.
Okay.
Gonna come through for Zeus. And he doesn't get punished in this lane. I actually really like this pick. All right, let's hear from the fans.
Beautiful noise.
I just love it when it's the lightings and the gyros. Lane. And there's a Grim Deliverance. Bin gonna have to dash his way out of this one. The passive is stacked up. The flash in gets the knock up, and there's first blood over to Zeka, and Anka's gonna connect here as well. Is on taking the damage, but will be able to find the root. Zeka gonna have to walk out, but HLE. Knight's moving over. Kanavi is gonna pull off of these grubs as there is Zeus looking for some angles towards Bin, but Bin went all out. But maybe he's going out of this top lane once again. As Zeus, the sidestep is going to mean that it's gonna be all right. He did have the passive, so he's not going down just yet. And in fact, is able to walk it off for the moment. Yeah, now Delight looking to move its way in, and the passive is gone, and so Zeus is just dead.
Steal away 1, he's got a smite charge.
Yeah, Anka going to connect somehow onto Knight. That was a great thread of the needle. Only level 5 Delight, though, is now on, taking a lot of damage. There's the cease and desist. True shot barrage over the top of HLE's Kanavi, trying to stay alive, but Viper comes on over to lock him down. The teleport in from Zeus. Now we know why they wanted to start this one, is on, having to get out of there. Gumayushi moving up now as well. Has been in amongst the fight, but the Chains of Corruption will hold him down. He tries to get away with the Grim Deliverance. He's going to come through from Zeus to block that one off. Another anchor from
to try and get away from.
In the meantime, we've got another battle, as now Kanavi taking a lot of damage. Shun just walking on over. Bin gonna come through, but Zeus gets to the safety of his turret. On, taking a bit of damage. Kanavi sidesteps on those Tangle Barbs. Gets the Vault Breaker max range. Cease and desist. They hold him in position. The Shockwave's decent, but the hook is better. Shun's still going to make his way down, though. The Grand Starfall is good for the Grim Deliverance. Looking to turn the play around. Gets the knock up on the Knight, but still, he dies. Couldn't stack it up. And now, Gumayushi turns up. Looks to get the snipe on Knight. Doesn't do nearly enough damage, and Shun picks up a double.
Straight walked out.
Yeah.
Through the brush there, and now they get a pick of their own.
The Anchor's going to miss, but the Chains of Corruption do land, and there is On going down. And Orianna needs no introduction as far as value later on is concerned. The Rift Herald is not going to do very much of anything at all, as On goes maybe a little bit too deep. They do manage to take down a turret here as the Dragon is going to be secured by Shun. Looks to try and turn it here onto Delight. We need a depth charge to come through. It'll get the knock-up onto Shun as now Viper trying to play off to the side. And Zeus, can he stack up the passive this time? The answer is yes. Grim Deliverance is going to come in, but it's going to be a taxi out for Bin. They kill him though before he can escape. And on his thrown through the wall as Between Worlds came on down. Viper playing this one out gorgeously though. The arcade shifts the double kill. And there's the resurrection, but where is he being resurrected to? Zeus comes up and kind of wishes he had stayed down.
BLG protect the
Because yeah, looking for Zeus here towards his top side. Grand Starfall does bring Shun up there as now Viper possibly caught out of position. Kanavi going to be dancing away from him though, and now we'll see whether Zeus can keep himself alive for long enough to get that passive back up again. The Grim Deliverance comes down. Pop Blossom going to connect, and they destroy Zeus. Good control here for BLG. They look to just really isolate this Baron, make sure that there is no vision as Kanavi goes in. Not sure about that one. Zeus off to the other side is making that one work, but Zeka goes between the worlds. Viper off to the side is tagged by Delight. Shun now getting taken down to the GA, and Kanavi just going to die because he doesn't have that item. Zeus should be able to use his passive to stay alive, but once again, there are a few too many people in the vicinity. He does get the ulti, crashes down on top of Shun. On is going to be executed as well, as Bin is looking for the angle. Zeka and Gumayushi still alive. Delight limping from the battle, and there is Bin taking him down. Guma will be ushered towards his inhibitor turret, but is he even safe there? There's an orb on top of Bin, making him nearly immortal, and Gumayushi will be obliterated by this Cassante.
They split push and they wait for an opportunity. Now another.
Yeah, Shockwave going to connect on to Zeus as he gets the knock-up on tonight, pulls him back. Grim Deliverance as Shun is now doing battle. Gumayushi does not want to 1v1 the Pantheon, and now he knows why, as Kanavi going to get pulled away by Bin, put down to the GA. Shun going to follow suit. Zeus is dealt with, and Bin is now just going to destroy this Vi with the help of On.
They didn't have the necessary pieces to actually finish that play, and now BLG are on the offense.
Well, Shun gonna get knocked up, no GA this time around as he's caught by Zeus. He gets into the backline, but he's just obliterated. My God, the damage out of Viper. True shot barrage to sail on through, but Zeka did manage to get himself a kill. Now looking to try and take down this Ezreal once again, as he's looking to do some funny business. Does have the teleport and not going to be able to use it. He'll be taken out. It's On that picks up that kill. Okay, will there be enough wave clear? That is the question. I do not think so, as Ben also going to make sure that Gumayushi's not allowed to press any buttons. He can tank up 2 Nexus turrets, and it looks to me like BLG has a date in the finals. HLE are going to have to go through another target if they want the rematch, and honestly, with this performance, I don't know whether anyone wants to face off against BLG.
And will they be able to even touch Knight if they do get a rematch?
But yeah, I mean, this series from BLG was so much more of what we were used to seeing from them in the LPL, just not in just the team fights and how quickly they can engage. Yeah.